everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the Pissed Off Gamers podcast. I'm your co-host, John, along with Brandon.
Yeah.
And Alex, who is unable to talk right now, so he has his mic muted, but he is in the call, so he will be typing messages to me, and I will be relaying them, and he says hi. Today we have a lot of topics to discuss, and it's going to get pretty heated at times, but that's the point of this podcast. We are pissed off, and we aren't afraid to express how we feel about some of these games. Anyway, let's dive into the podcast. So the first thing I want to do is introduce each of us and why we want to do the podcast. So Brandon, you can go first.
My name is Brandon. I've been wanting to do this podcast for about 2 years almost. Definitely something I've always wanted to be doing. Just glad that we're finally getting it started. And I'm excited to be pissed off, man. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. So let's do this.
Yeah, same here, Brandon. So Alex is 19 years old. He's been playing video games since he was about 4 or 5 years old. And an interesting fact about him is that he's a singer and can also sing in multiple languages. So that's something pretty cool.
Does he have a YouTube channel for that?
No, he just has a gaming channel.
So you don't use your talent of singing to make a YouTube channel. I'm sure there's some ladies out there that would love to hear him singing.
He's saving up for a mic currently. He just said.
I'd like to hear him singing Spanish.
So my name is John. I'm 19 years old. I go to Slippery Rock University, so I'm a college student, and I'm currently in the process of making a Call of Duty Black Ops 4 team for the upcoming competitive season in the Collegiate League. I've been playing games since I was about 5 or 6 years old. Started off with the GameCube and branched out with all different consoles, and now I mostly play on the PS4 and a little bit of the Xbox. So yeah.
So we ain't stupid. We know our video games.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah, we do.
We know our stuff, man. So I don't want nobody fucking saying some dumb shit that we don't know something when we do. So.
So the first thing that I want to bring to attention is Call of Duty Black Ops 4. It's something we've all been playing.
Oh, let's talk about Black Ops 4. Let's talk.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk. 'Cause I'm pissed. Yeah, so let's talk about it, please.
All right, you know what, Brandon? You can start this off.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get off to a bad start right now, so I'm just gonna, I'll let you do it, and I'll gradually, give you my opinion how I feel.
So you want me to start it off? Okay.
Yeah.
So my current thoughts on Black Ops 4 right now, it's a good game, but it needs some work. Okay. The specialists in the game are just way too overpowered. Ajax. And the weapons, even though there was a gun balancing update just this past Tuesday, they still need work.
That didn't do shit.
Didn't do anything. So it still needs work. Blackout, it's okay. It's not the best. The server tick rate still's at 20 and not 60 like multiplayer. Zombies, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But the one thing that pisses me off about the game, the microtransactions. COD points are back. They're back, baby. They're back to haunt us again.
There's only one thing that pisses you off. It's microtransactions.
It's the microtransactions mainly, and just the specialists. The specialists are retarded. I can't stand the specialists.
Well, let's refrain from using the R. But I don't want to say that there's only one issue with the game. There's multiple issues with the game. It's just when
those were just the main ones that came to my mind.
Vondahar. Oh, buddy Vondahar. My guy. You white chocolate covered milk dud head ass. So listen, my issues with the game is basically how do I put this? Everything. Basically a reskin of Black Ops 3. Copying from Fortnite. So And that's that. I mean, and that's what going back to the microtransaction thing. That's basically what it is. Like honestly, like they're just copying off of what the Fortnite challenges kind of stuff is. I mean, that's how they're doing it. It's basically what it is. So it's just they're not being original. I mean, with their zombies, always changing. It's always different things. But I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with zombies. But when you have like you guys took away making a campaign to make Blackout. I mean, it's it's definitely not going to be where you want it to be. It's definitely not going to catch up to where Fortnite definitely is. Um, it's just you have all these issues with multiplayer. I mean, it's just I mean, from a just a public just from like playing like public matches. I mean, it's just I mean, there's just nothing. It's not a great game. Like it's not the best they could have done, and that's what it makes me so annoyed. Is like you have 3 years to make a video game. Like
Yeah.
you have all this work that you put in, like all these years of work that you're making this video game, and there's just so many issues with it. Like, wasn't it on midnight launch that they had to have that huge update on the game, like the night of the launch,
Yeah, the 50 gigabyte patch.
just to have all that stuff. Like it's issues like that that don't make sense to me. I mean, it's like you have 3 years to make and perfect this game, and the day you drop the game, you're already putting out an update to help fix the game. It's stuff like that. I mean, it's definitely not the Call of Duties that I've grown up with, like MW2 or COD 4 and stuff like that. It's just not the same game. I just feel like they're definitely money focused and not giving the fans what they want. I mean, I'm sure it's like jetpacks anymore. The last 3 games we had or exosuits, and that's the only thing that they really fixed. It's just like it's literally a reskin of Black Ops 3. You have basically the same operators, maybe with different things, but it's just like it's just not it's just not the same game. It's not. Oh, I should say it is the same 3, but it's not the game that people wanted to get back in after 3 years of exosuits and jetpacks and people jumping over us like spider monkeys.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you on that. Very much.
That's my rant. That's my rant. So
Alex put in his input of it, and he said the status of BO4 is very interesting. The game looks stunning with the PS4 Pro and boost mode makes it look better as well. There are a lot of bad things about the game. The guns are all overpowered and the operators are too. The fact that microtransactions are back in just makes him sad. The game also feels slightly slow at times, mostly in Blackout. He can't play zombies since he keeps getting an error code for it, so he can't really talk about zombies at all. Another thing that makes him sad is the no story that they decided to go with this year. But he also added that he loved all the COD stories, and now there isn't any.
yeah, I mean, like it's just the little small stories that they have in it. It's just like yeah, those are great. Like I love like the story that they're building from that. But it's like the fact that you have to unlock it to get more of what that story mode is that they have for the operators. I think
Mm-hmm.
is it for these like all the operators, or is it just like all one big story about all the operators?
So it's individual specialist missions that you basically just play TDM, domination, hardpoint, or search, and there's like different tasks for them that you have to accomplish.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's just like what they were showing. Like the first thing that the first video of the operator missions. I say that with air quotes. It's just like it was great. Like they were kind of piecing together like the next generation of like you know Mason, like
Mm-hmm.
like his granddaughter. I guess I'm thinking that's who she was. But it's just like if they would have went down the route as in making a full story of what they did, I mean, it would have been great. I mean, that might have been the only good thing that probably could have came out of this game was having that story mode with it. But the fact that they didn't do that and wanted to try and be the next Fortnite
Mm-hmm.
was it's not right. And then
Yeah,
they
and the one thing that really pisses me off is whenever the game was first being developed in its early stages, it had a story mode. There was a whole story laid out for it, what it was going to be, how it was going to end, what it was going to consist of. And whenever this Fortnite craze and this PUBG craze came about, they just scrapped it altogether. And that's just like
And that's the
why.
thing that like makes me mad. It's like, so like if this is if this is what they're going to do, you know, with how Black Ops 4 did it, is it is this how um in, Infinity Ward is going to do with their next game? Like, are they battle royale aspect into the game and just totally fucking ditch the campaign mode? Because I mean, with Infinity Ward, I loved all their campaigns.
Yeah,
I
same
like,
here.
honestly, all of them were so great. Like, I know some people kind of hated on Call of Duty Ghost campaign, but I mean, I thought that
I
was a
thought that
great
was
campaign.
in my opinion, I thought that was the greatest Call of Duty campaign I've ever played.
I thought it was a great campaign. Like, it was just everything was it was just awesome. I mean, I know there were certain aspects of it that were kind of like skinned from like MW2 or MW3, but it was just like that story mode was great. I mean, I thought the COD 4 campaign was great. I thought the MW2 campaign was great. I mean, I'll give the Sledgehammer. I mean, with AW and World War II, I mean, those campaigns were great as well. But it's just like the fact that you're going to be like you're just ditching probably out of. I mean, with the Black Ops series, I mean they've probably had like the best campaign modes, and this is my opinion, than any of the other ones. I mean, I love the MW like COD 4's campaign and MW2's campaign, but it's just like I love the Black Ops 1 campaign. I love the Black Ops 2 campaign, as I love that whole story of being with Mason and being with Woods and stuff like that. Like I enjoy that a lot. And now that you completely just scrap that to like I said again, I sound like a broken record, but just to try and catch up with Fortnite and be that next craze, it's not going to work. Like you're a video game that is solely based off of your zombies, your multiplayer, and then your campaign mostly. Like that's probably one of the biggest percentages of players that ended up buying your game was just to like play a campaign. Like there's a lot of people that do that. There's a lot of people that play multiplayer and also a lot of people that play zombies, but it's just like you're totally just ignoring that whole entire percentage of people who buy your games just to play campaign. Like they're not going to just want to sit through and have to play multiplayer just to unlock story mode missions. It's not what people want to do. Like,
Yeah. So Alex put in his input. He thinks they should add a story. They could make more money if they added a story. He totally agrees with you, Brandon, about the story with Mason's family. Like they just cut it off, and that he would love to know what happens with Mason's family and stuff. And he also added that BO4, the games, once it came out, over 30,000 copies, 300,000 copies were returned since of no story mode.
see, and that's it explains my point. I didn't even know that fact, and that's honestly insane. Like you have 300 of your 300,000 copies being returned to your store all because of that. Like that's a huge population of people. Like not many people want to just I mean, if it's PlayStation or if it's Xbox, I mean most people, that percentage of people might not have Xbox Live or PlayStation Live, but and that's what I mean. It's like they're just playing it just for the story mode. I mean, I know when I didn't have Xbox Live, I was just playing for the story mode back in like COD 4 and MW2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's like the fact that, like, could you imagine if COD 4, MW2, or MW3 didn't have campaigns? Like, could you, like, imagine that? Like, you wouldn't have people who have that connection with Ghost. Like, you wouldn't have those people that have the connection with Price or, just those kind of characters. That's such a huge, like, fundamental basis of what your company as a whole is. And just not adding that story mode in is just, I mean, that honestly, that doesn't help you in any way. If anything, it's like you worse. So it's like, if in the next 3 years when you come to the next game, it better be your best damn campaign that anybody has ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my opinion, because
Yeah.
like if you wanted to stick out from other gaming companies, or being better than other games like Fortnite or like it's just let Fortnite do their own thing. Like let them get their thing. Like don't try and hop in on that bandwagon like you're some fucking Warriors or Cleveland Cavs fan or Lakers fan now. Like it just do your own thing. Like be your own company. Just find a way to just do your thing that makes your fan base happy. So
Yeah,
and it's just
exactly.
like the fact that you just want to throw those people away and just say like yeah we just and that literally just shows that they're just in it for the money. Like that it's so sad. Like you're hopping on that that craze that people just are. I mean, and I'm not blaming trash on, but it's like I don't see the battle royale effect, being around that much longer. I mean, I honestly don't. Like, there's going to be another that comes out that's gonna like it's gonna blow up. I mean, it's already like it's not. This isn't the first time that a battle royale game has blown up. Like it happened with PUBG. It happened with like what was like Arma, like or whatever it was, like it just like H1Z1, like those had their crazes for a short span of time, and they ended up dying out. So it's like you know I'm glad with Epic Games. They did an awesome ass job making Fortnite. They've been working on that game since like pretty much like a whole decade. So it's just like don't just be you, because that aspect of battle royale isn't around much longer. So like why waste your big percentage of people's time and just to make something that you're only for the money that's gonna be gone in like probably 3 to 4 years.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
we're
just
going to talk more about Fortnite later in the podcast.
yeah.
Alex wanted to add, with the BO4 copies, over 300,000 were returned. He the math was done, and that's over about $20,000, and they lost that much in 2 to 4 days, and maybe even more was lost due to um. Oh, he said 20 million. My bad. I looked at the message wrong. Over 20 million. $20 million lost.
Wow.
So that is insane. Very, very insane. So to close out on Black Ops 4, do we see like a good future ahead for the title? If Treyarch, listens to the community and doesn't let the supply drops and everything get to their head again, like with Black Ops 3, do we see a future?
Do we think that this game will last very long through that, like till the next game comes out? Is that what you mean, or
Yeah,
what are you saying?
or and even longer,
I mean,
kind of like
honestly, like
how.
every Call of Duty game runs through that cycle that oh yeah, it's a great game, love playing this game, get tired of this game, can't wait for the next game, got the new game, and it's just on that recycle. Like it's gonna happen, but it's
Yeah,
like with this one, I feel like it might happen faster, like because like it's I mean it's with World War II, like that happened fast as hell, like. It was that was a boring game to play. Like if you were just a casual player, I think the
hmm
only game, only thing that's going to keep that game alive throughout the whole year and keep people attention is if they're into the esports scene. I mean, that's the only way. I don't see, you're just going to have those, casual players. I mean, I guarantee you by like summer, by like next summer, there's still going to be more people playing Black Ops 3 than there is people playing Black Ops 4.
Oh,
Or
I
I mean,
could agree with
or
that.
I'm sorry, Black Ops 2 or Black Ops 3 than people playing Black Ops 4. Like I just don't doubt that. So it's just like this game is going to die off fast, but the only thing that's going to keep it, in people's kind of line of view is because of the esports scene. I like there's nothing else. It's too late to add a story mode in. I mean, I don't know how they would do that, or else it's going to be a huge ass update. But it's just like you okay understand that this wasn't the greatest move. Like yeah, I understand you guys risk of trying to see if this is working out, but it didn't work out since day one. So it's just like I mean yeah, you have a lot of a good amount of streamers who are streaming Blackout, but it's just like it's not what it is. I mean your whole aspect of what Blackout is obviously what fucking H1Z1 and PUBG is, but it's just like you did it because of Fortnite. Like it's just once companies do stuff because of different companies, like they're going down. Like it's
Yeah.
just, or they're just in it for the money. Like that's
Mhm.
just what it is.
Yeah. Alex put in his input on that, and he said if Treyarch listens to the fans, then the game could last a good bit of time. But if they don't, then it's just going to go downhill. And he also agreed with you on a lot of your points that you made.
Good to hear that. I mean, it's just like, it's the whole thing was just like, I hate, I'm pissed off at broken record, but because I'm just gonna, it makes me so mad that it's just like they're copying from a thing, but it's like Fortnite was free. Fortnite was, you didn't have to buy the game, and then like they're making money just off of people buying the battle pass and getting more, of those. What the fuck are they called? The V Bucks. It's just like that's what people are spending money on, making their money. But
Yeah.
whereas like with Blackout, like you still had to pay the full price of $60 to get the game, and then they're gonna make you hop on with spending more money to do for the microtransaction things.
Yeah,
Like
it's the battle pass is $50.
like like come on, man. Like the battle pass on Fortnite's like what, 10, 15?
10.
Like like you're gonna have people spend almost like $110 for this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious? So it's just like it's just ridiculous. It's disappointing too, because you've made a game that's engraved in everybody's childhood, and you're just going after money now.
Yeah.
Like it's people are just gonna get so tired of what Call of Duty is doing. Like people are always gonna buy Call of Duty. Like there's no doubt. Like people are always gonna buy the game because it's that's a franchise game is Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like the way they're taking it and the way that they're like kind of abusing their customers and their players. It's just it's sad, and I feel like they're not. I'm not going to just put this on like Treyarch or Infinity Ward or Sledgehammer Games, but I mean like look at EA. EA does the same shit. That failed with them in Battlefront 2. Battlefield is gonna do the same shit when they drop that. I mean, look at their Madden and NBA and NHL. Like they're doing the same shit with that too. Like they're just going after the money aspect. Like if you're wanting players to spend so much money on having additional items, then drop the game for free. I guarantee you're gonna get more money because that's how Epic Games did that shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're not like making their players drop $60 on Fortnite and then having them spend even more money to get different shit too. Like it's just like you need to just to understand like the way shit is now. Like if you wanted to hop on that bandwagon, then you needed to hop on it the full way and not just what the whole aspect of what Fortnite is got so hot. Like you needed to understand that if you wanted to be where Fortnite is, then you needed to drop their game for free and then maybe drop the prices on the battle pass and other shit for like to a lower price.
Yeah.
That would be the only way if you wanted to be like them and wanted to be on the same level that they are on. Like that's the only way that you will be able to do it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I don't think there's really much to talk about now with Black Ops 4. So let's move on to Fortnite, which we were really just talking about also. The game right now, it's in its Halloween season with its Halloween themed update in the
Spooky
Fortnitemares
season.
event. Um,
Spooky season.
right now, I'm still enjoying the game, but I'm also annoyed with the zombie aspect of it. It comes in handy at times, whenever you need guns, ammo, and stuff like that, or materials. But if you're playing solos, then it's bad. You just
I mean,
get obliterated, in my opinion. But for other people, it could be different.
I think that aspect of having those like in, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and I agree with it. Like they can be annoying and shit, but it's like it's also I don't think that's going to be around much longer. Definitely not going into next season. Just like how every season is different, and
Mm-hmm.
what they're doing all around the map, and the map is like constantly changing, and like that big ass fucking tornado mountain just like off of Loot Lake just broke. Like it's just like they're constantly evolving their game. So I mean, I don't necessarily like the aspect, but I don't hate it of having like those zombies in or whatever they are. It's just like it's not it's not the worst thing that they could have that could have happened to it. I mean, it's like I said, it's not going to be around very much longer, and they understand it's not going to be around very much longer. But at least it's like beneficial to the players, at least because if you shoot them and kill them, then you're getting something out of it. So it's not they're just like an annoying nag that like okay you kill them and you like there's nothing that happens like there's like you're getting something out of them.
Yeah, yeah. So Alex, right now, he's chatting. He thinks there should be a game mode where there is no building.
Um, I don't agree with that because I mean that would kind of just take away of what Fortnite is. I mean, shit, it's a title, so I think being taking out building would just be dumb. I mean, they've already it's like I heard weren't they in talks of like limiting the how much you could build in the game? Like, did that happen, or was that just like rumors?
Yeah, that was in talks about 2-3 months ago. Pretty sure.
It's just like doing that would just like kind of dumb down like the entire the whole aspect like the main that's literally the main aspect of the game. Like it's just like if you can't build, then you either need to get better or you need to do something else because like that's what Fortnite is. I mean, it's just like look, they tried dumbing it down as much as they possibly could without people losing their minds. I mean, they added the porta fort in. I mean, they're doing different things to kind of give players certain advantages, but it's just like to have a full like I mean you could do that as like just a temporary little game mode, but don't that's not going to be something that they're definitely like all players are going to switch to because they're not going to enjoy that because that's just going to take it back to the when Fortnite first dropped. I mean, nobody built the way people build now at Fortnite. Like
Yeah,
people
it's become a lot more skill based.
like people use their materials and as a way to get higher advantage and and stuff like that. Like that's just a huge aspect of it. Like if you can build fast, if you can get a bigger advantage on somebody by building higher, then like that you're 9 times out of 10 might end up winning that gunfight. So
Yeah.
that's not something that I definitely don't think people would want to see is materials be taken out or just having that limit on how high you could build. It's just I mean they can put it in and as a temporary game mode see how it goes, but it's just like it's definitely that's definitely not what people want
I think they
as a
should
full-time game
do
mode.
like with how PUBG does it with, new content updates that they want to test and soon release. They should have like a PTS server. So whoever qualifies to go into it, or really just any player, they go into the server, they're able to like mess around with the new stuff that they're testing out and would like to add to the game. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. So they're just going to cut it. I think that should be a big thing that really should be added into any game that's multiplayer based.
I mean, yeah, I would. I mean, I agree because I mean, it gives that give that. I guess it gives the players a of way of having their input in on a certain a game type or and like other issues. It's just so. I mean, I definitely agree with that. Um, but it's just like I don't see them ever doing that. Definitely in the near future.
Yeah. Alex has joined the call now.
Hi. Okay, yeah. I was just thinking like of that game mode to the to players, since they wouldn't be able to like say you're getting shot at immediate, like you won't be able to place 10 walls right there. And then I think it would be more challenging. And I actually like sort of in it, since you can train up a big army, and they can actually help you out. They split off sometimes. I've seen videos of it, and I do agree with John with the TTS servers, just like how Siege is. In Siege, they put stuff in the TTS, rebalancing the aiming and stuff like that. And if people don't like it, they delete it immediately from the TTS. And I think if Fortnite did that, it would be a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Is it absolutely needed? Such a huge issue that many people are having, huge talks on Twitter about adding in. Does them not having that cause such a huge effect on the game though? That's my question.
I don't think there's really been talks about them adding in a TTS server. I just think it would be good to have, if they want to test out future updates, because they do update the game weekly.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's just yeah, it could maybe benefit things a little bit more, but it's just unless they see it as absolutely needed, then I'm just seeing it as a developer's standpoint and a company standpoint. Unless it's absolutely needed, that that it's so important that the players need to have their input in on certain issues, whether it's about the weapons or the building and stuff like that. But unless if it's not absolutely needed, then I don't see them ever putting that in.
I understand your point, but if they really want to listen to their people, which they Fortnite sort of listens to their people, they don't really much. But if they listen to them, so much more people would come into the game, way more than what they have now.
Well, I mean, I feel definitely, I feel what they're doing now is giving the players what they want. It's just I mean, yeah, I'm sure they take opinions from players and stuff like that. Definitely pro players, but it's just when I mean, I don't see what they're doing now is any way towards against any other players. I mean, I think the stupid thing they ever did was adding in porta forts, because you doing that just kind of dumbs down the game and tries to make worse players to get on the same level as better players. Yeah. So I feel with that, I mean, that was the only bad thing I saw from it. I mean, now that did they do something else with the pump or anything like that? Because I mean, the double pump honestly was I was happy that they nerfed that.
The double pump's still kind of there in an aspect. I figured it out when I play. I say a pump in my first slot, and a sub, then a pump again, and I can switch over the sub, and the pump will be ready to shoot immediately. So basically, it's doing double pump in an aspect. So, I did that on John earlier today when we were playing, and I could tell he was getting upset, mad with that happening. But what are your guys' thoughts on the playground?
Playground's a good idea, and I like the premise of it, but it's just something that I don't see myself playing, because I'm mainly playing Fortnite by myself or with Brandon. So I don't really have the chance to play it that much, and whenever I do, I'm not really doing anything.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, John. It's just I like the aspect of playground mode. It's just it gives players the ability to be creative. You see all of these videos on Twitter what people are doing in playground modes, they're building mazes and shit like that. They're doing different things, and I like that. You're giving the players the ability to honestly do whatever they want in a certain game mode.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's definitely, I think, a good thing, by allowing players to have that creativity to do whatever the fuck they want to do. And so I mean I'm not against it in any way possible, because I mean, it doesn't affect me. Like, do it, then I'll do it.
Do you agree with the how much, or do you think they should have like an ability where you can make it so you're not just there for like an hour? Say like you like cover the whole map with you like 3 of your buddies, or do like a huge obstacle course around the entire map, like every little square of the map. Do you think they should make it like unlimited time or like an option to do that?
I should give you an option to adjust the time on it, because I'm sure people don't want. What is it like? What is the time that they have?
60 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, like honestly, if people are wanting to do like big ass, like huge, make huge structures or something like yeah, you should allow those players to adjust the time to where they see like possible, or you can put it on for to whenever you just want to end the game. I mean, there shouldn't be a time limit on it, but I mean, like how they have it set on.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they should definitely make it to whereas we can adjust that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure like once, because I mean they had Playground on, brought it just back. So I mean, like they're definitely gonna keep it around for like a lot longer. So it's definitely gonna be something that they could probably take into effect of making it like whereas players can adjust the time to as long or short as they want. But I mean that's just we would just that's all in due time to see if they will ever do that or not. But I definitely agree with letting players be able to adjust the time period.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is anybody else want to say anything else about Fortnite right now?
Epic Games, you're doing a great. Keep it up. Please
all right.
keep letting Vonderhart kiss your ass. Must feel good.
All right, so now we are going to move on to the critically acclaimed Red Dead Redemption 2. I've actually been playing it recently. I bought it on launch night, played it at midnight, played a good 2 hours of it the first night it came out, and I was very impressed with how they are going with the story here, because this game takes place before the first one. John Marston's in the game.
Yeah, I heard he's like boy, like he's not even an adult yet, like he's a little ass kid.
He's like a young adult, basically. That's what he is in this game.
Okay,
he's a young adult, maybe a teenager.
Yeah, so he's a little ass kid.
if you want to say that.
Yeah.
But the way that they did this game, you can really tell they took, some things out of GTA 5 and threw it into Red Dead Redemption to make it what it is and make it stand out. The story of it, it's amazing. It all plays well. There's so much to do in the game. The life style of the game and how it plays and interactions between people, it's insane. Like you can talk to really like any person you want in that game, and they'll always have something unique to say.
Yeah.
The gunplay for it is really good. At times I get a little bit frustrated with how it works because they made it so now you can't just have like unlimited weapons like on you at once. So your horse is like your storage and you pull your weapons from there to equip onto you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how they did it with this one. Probably to make it and promote more play styles than just, run and gun. We'll give you all these guns. You can just go in, shoot everybody up, and then get out.
Right.
But the game, whenever it launched, it drew a crowd. It launched with 9s and 10s from many different review companies. And its first weekend, it brought in $725 million in copies worldwide.
And that, I mean, that's great for them. And it's also just like, I mean, it's been what, since like 2009, 10 that the first one came out?
About,
yeah.
So I don't remember exactly when.
You've had like 8-9 years, people wanting to, play the second game, and just how great that the first game left off, and how like the Red Dead 1 was probably, that was, the best game of, that decade, like for sure. And because like at the time, like it was people weren't expecting from a company like Rockstar who would make like GTA where you could like fuck prostitutes and shit like that. It's just like people weren't expecting that to come from them, and the fact they made that game the way they did and how great of a game that it was, because I loved playing the first the first Red Dead game. Like I loved that game. Like I loved going on like long ass horse rides. Couldn't remember if you could fast travel in the first one, but like I never used fast travel in that.
You
But
could
it's just
fast
like,
travel with the carriages. You had to pay a fee though.
oh, okay. Well, but like I've loved going on like long horse rides, and I love the story mode aspect of it. I love the John Marston character. Like it was a great game. So I think like I'm not surprised that it brought in 9-10 and that it so many copies were bought on opening night. I mean, honestly, it surprised me because it's been long awaited since that game. So I mean, Rockstar, they're killing it right now. So I don't know
They are.
I don't know what the hell that was, but
Me neither. So to add on with the sales of Red Dead 2, it is the second highest grossing entertainment launch. It's actually right behind Grand Theft Auto 5 that has ever launched on the PlayStation Network. So
Wow.
that really just shows, because whenever you think about it, these past, before the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One came out, Microsoft took over the whole gaming industry. The Xbox 360 was the console to play on. And now it's the opposite. PlayStation is where everyone wants to play. That's what's being promoted on mostly every ad for a lot of these AAA titles. Call of Duty was promoted for it. Red Dead Redemption. Trying to think of another game right now. It's at the top of my head, but I don't know what it is. But there's just so many games that are being promoted on the PlayStation, and really the only ones that are being promoted on the Xbox are Assassin's Creed and like EA games.
Yeah, and I think like that. I mean, you have such a wide variety of different games that are being promoted on PlayStation, and they're making all these great games. Whereas like I still feel like with Xbox, they're trying. I mean, they have some great franchise games. Like they have like Halo, which is definitely probably their number one. But it's just like
Gears of War.
Yeah, and Gears of War.
You have Forza franchise too,
and Forza. But and it's just like I still feel like even to this day, like they've always been kind of more of a family like friendly kind of company. Like they would just make like these games that were just just kind of like focused towards like to gain kids' attentions. Where it's just like your consumers who first bought Xbox 360. I mean, they're teenagers now. Like they're adults. Like they're not little kids anymore. They don't want to they don't want to play I couldn't even tell you a game that is just especially shot towards kids, but it's just like they're making more of those games. It's like you need to widen out your reach and definitely kind of not like rely on games that are being released first on PlayStation and then being released on like onto the Xbox console. So I mean, like it's definitely they need to make more games that are directed towards the grown-ups, because that's what PlayStation is doing. I mean, PlayStation has made games that like were definitely shown towards kids, but it's just like they're all games that what was the one game? Was it Limbo? I think that was called. It was like it came out like a year or two after PlayStation 4 launched. Like that kind of was towards like kids, but a lot of adults played that game because of it had like a very like a darker feel to it. But it was like a 2D game. But it's
Are you talking about like the black and white 2D platformer with like the little boy and this and that? Yeah. It wasn't directed towards children. It was morely an adult game, because I think it was actually rated T or M.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I mean,
let me look.
Like, kids would play, but it just wasn't though. Like it was a game where adults could play it too because it had an aspect to it. So I mean, I think that's why. And PlayStation, Sony just always knows how to advertise. Like they've always done that very well. But I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I love the Gears of War series. I love the Halo series. I never was big into racing games, so I mean, I never really liked like the Forza. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's just they can't rely on those franchises anymore because honestly, going ill. Especially, I mean, with Gears of War, like I think the aspect that's really popping off right now in both of those games is is the esports scene.
Mm-hmm. So Limbo was rated T. I couldn't remember if it was T or M. I had a feeling it was just most likely T because it didn't show much. It had mild violence and like was the only reason why. All right. Anything else we want to discuss about Red Dead? Okay.
Well, it's not really Red Dead. Like it was about like how Brandon was talking about Xbox differences. There's still the strongest franchise. There's only 2 franchises right now, I think, on Xbox that will still be around in like the next 5-10 years. I think, which will be the Halo series. I think that's still going to be around if they decide to make more. And Forza. I know Forza. I think in like the 150 mil in profit. And the game is absolutely stunning. If you have
it's a very
Xbox X and you're running that thing at highest graphics you can on a 4K TV, it's breathtaking. It looks like you're actually there.
Especially on PC too.
Mm-hmm. That's all I wanted to add.
All right. So now we're going to move on to upcoming game releases. There's a lot of very good games coming out. Fallout 76 releases this month, actually. Don't remember when, but it's coming out. Anthem and Days Gone releasing in February, actually on the same day. Battlefield 5, which was supposed to be out back in October, but was delayed due to just them feeling as if the game was being rushed and it needed more work. The Last of Us Part 2 and Just Cause 4. So we can talk about any game that you guys want to. It doesn't have to be all of them, but those are, just some of the big name games coming out in the next couple months to a year.
I played Fallout 4 like a couple times when you were over here sleeping, John. When you let me play it when you had it, and I liked it. I was never really saw myself playing it a lot. Like one of these games are like where I want to chill and relax. But I just I read up when I was muted earlier due to the background noise that I had. I read up on 76.
Yeah, Fallout 76.
And truthfully, I'm actually excited. Which it comes out on the 14th. I'm super excited for it. I'm actually going to try since the last really survival type game where there's a story mode and sort of like that. And that's what I'm seeing here. There's PvP and then there's not PvP. Was what State of Decay 2. And that game is absolutely I don't like that game at all. The graphics look like they're from freaking 2004. It's super laggy. It's laggier than 7 Days to Die. And the 7 Days to Die came out when? 2008? 2009?
Yeah, on PC, but on console it came out in 2015 or 16.
Yeah. I'd rather play 7 Days to Die than State of Decay 2. But I can't wait for this to come out. I'm reading here about how it was at E3. West Virginia, which is an hour, 2 hours away from where we live, or where I live. It's just mind blowing since I know part of West Virginia since my grandpa lives there. So I might recognize part of the map actually.
Yeah. The take that they're going with Fallout 76 is very interesting because it's the first Fallout game that is mass multiplayer. And whenever it was first revealed, a lot of people were kind of PO'd about that because they didn't want a multiplayer based Fallout game where it's solely multiplayer with no single player. But there's, single player aspects to it. Like you're playing a story, your friends are there, there's other players, you can get attacked by other players. You don't have to attack them. You can, conversate with them and other stuff. And the beta is actually going on right now for the game as we're speaking. And a bunch of my friends have been playing it, and they're saying the beta is not bad. I was looking at some stuff for it, and a lot of news outlets are saying that it needs work. I was watching a couple live streams on it yesterday. The game needs work. It looks nice. It really does. But I feel as if it needs a lot of work. And if they do accomplish, getting all that work done to make it the best thing that they can at launch, it could be a really good game this year. A very good game.
Yeah.
Okay, go, Brennan. Sorry.
No, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a great game. I mean, Fallout, I mean, that's, it's a special place in, people's hearts. I've never, was really, I mean, I know my little brother, he loves that game. It's just, I'm trying to, put this in the best way I possibly can. I don't think it's, it's definitely going to be up there with, top, maybe top 5 games of the year, or you know what I mean? It's just, it might not be up there, because why I say that is because they're going to have a lot of, other games to compete against. Whereas where I say is with, Days Gone, I think I think there's a common misconception about that game, but people don't realize is that's an open world game. That's a survival game as well too. That's like GTA on fucking crack. With zombies though. It's just, that game is going to honestly insane. And it's, and the whole zombies thing is, it's that's something people that's always been a train that people are going to hop on, because people just, and also adding a survival aspect to it, that to the point you have to collect these things, you have to take care of your motorcycle. If you get your motorcycle damaged, then you have to either find or build a whole new one. It's just, there's just so many different things that people are that they're doing with that game, that it's definitely going to compete against Fallout, as in a way of survival games, or just those kind of tactics that they're doing.
Yeah, they're working to make that game a more survival-based game. They are working to compete with other companies that make games designed like that. And I think that's where, Bethesda's going to have competition, because Fallout's always been known as, the survival game experience. And now with Days Gone coming into play, Fallout's going to have to step it up. And with them going with the multiplayer this year, I believe it's not going to be a game of the year contender. Unless the game is so good at launch and it gets so much praise and this and that, okay, then I'll reconsider. But there are so many other games out there right now that are game of the year contenders that I believe should get it over Fallout 76.
And there's going to be even more games that are coming out for, probably they have those awards. I mean, I wish The Last of Us Part 2 would be in contentions for this game of the year, but aren't they dropping that until later of next year?
Yeah, that's what rumors have said.
I wish that would be able to contend with that, because if anything, that game would probably take the cake. And
without a doubt,
for sure. Because I mean, the first one was just, honestly, it was just amazing how they had that game, just the whole story of it. And I think people really haven't I think why that game was so popular is because one, they were it was made by Naughty Dog, and Naughty Dog has made Uncharted. That's just, when you've made games like Uncharted, it's just, and you come out with a game where, zombies, and, you follow these two characters all like across the country, and you have this like father figure and this daughter figure, and just they each have their own story of it while trying to like make it across the country into the zombie apocalypse. I mean, it's just that was just something people have never saw before. So I think that's why it was so popular. People want to see, and it just left on such a huge, great cliffhanger that it was the only cliffhanger that would ever like allow myself to not be pissed at, because it set it up perfectly for another game. Like,
Oh yeah, it did.
like if you play that game, and like if you haven't played that game, fuck out and go buy that game, because you're honestly missing out on, probably, in my opinion, it was one of the best games of our generation, in like, as in story wise mode. And
I completely agree with you on that.
and so it's just like, if you've played the game, if you see how that game ends with, Ellie and, oh my gosh,
Joel.
Joel, like standing there over, his brother's like camp, and like after, Joel saves her from the hospital, and how that left off, if asking her, if like, was there others that were like me, when they're really, like, he lied to her, and she asked him that, and he knew that that was wrong to say, and so it was just like, that way the game ended right on that point. That was a perfect way to, kind of progress. Like, there's so many great theories out there that about how, part two will pick up and how part two will play out. It's just like, it's just that I wish that game would end with, all these games that have came out already this year, and it's just, because I know that game would just whoop all their asses. Period. I know that for a fact.
Oh yeah. I could completely agree with you on that. I really can. Any other games that we want to discuss?
Can I add something to the Fallout quickly before
Sure.
begin by people?
Sure.
Here at my house, I hate it. I just read up. They're introducing like campgrounds, like sort of like how the Far Cry is. Like there's campgrounds around the whole map where you can take them over, and then you can build whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, that was introduced in 4. That was the settlements.
But there's only designated areas in this one. There won't be designated areas. So, for example, you take her over that camp. You get, like, say, a couple miles out of where the actual camp is. That's where I'm reading here. And you can do that in any, like, you can do the multiplayer, build a campground wherever you want, and saying it right here. And I think that's an interesting thing. It reminds me sort of like how 7 Days to Die is, like, where you can build a camp wherever you want.
Oh yeah.
And I like that aspect.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's just the way that they're gonna implement it into the game and how it's gonna fit that, just worries me. Because the settlement building in 4 wasn't the best. It needed a lot of work, but it was a very cool addition.
I just read another thing. There's real as well.
What's that you cut out?
There's real-time events like in Destiny 2 as well.
Yeah.
Which is
one other thing that they added in is the implementation of like live nukes. So you can nuke different areas, whatever. If you find a nuke, they're saying it's very hard to find a nuke and, solve the passcode for it and actually launch it. It does major destruction.
Their DLCs will also, updates will be free.
That's actually very interesting.
Yeah, I just see it. Fallout 76 will see free updates for years. It seems like Bethesda wants Fallout 76 to be an ongoing game in the same line as Destiny 2, The Division, and at the same time, it's unclear if paid expansions will be released down the line, but everything that Bethesda has said so far suggests it wants to keep the players base on the same playing field.
So what they're really saying is Bethesda really sees a future for Fallout 76.
Yes.
That's interesting. It's interesting. Well, I guess we just got to wait till launch on that one to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else we want to discuss? I think we mostly covered it all.
Yeah. I mean, I've said everything. This is oh my god, The Last of Us. Fallout 76. Days Gone. Tomb Raider. Great game, by the way.
Tomb Raider was amazing.
Spider-Man. Just be lucky. You guys got saved this time because if the The Last of Us came out and you guys had to compete against that game, y'all motherfuckers would have got your ass whooped. Period.
All right. So one thing Alex wanted to suggest to the audience, whoever watches the podcast, is a Q&A section of the podcast, which will be at the end, where we pull, people's questions that they leave in the comments and we answer them and voice our opinions on it. So that's one thing we want to encourage is, leave questions in the comments and we'll potentially answer your question on the next podcast. So that concludes the Pissed Off Gamers podcast. Do you guys have anything else you want to say before we, end this?
Yeah. No, I just want to, first off, I just want to take, take a moment, and just, give my appreciation to all those people that do listen to podcasts. Because this is definitely something people really don't take advantage of is, trying to make a podcast. You can definitely get big making a podcast, and, I'm glad that, we're doing it as in a way that, just to express our opinions on certain games, podcasts out there that express their opinions on certain games. And, I'm hoping down the road that this podcast will definitely try to be different from the other podcasts about video games that are out there. So I just want to, give a thanks to all those people who, take their time out of their day to listen to, us, like our three dumbasses, talking about video games. So, I thank you guys for that. Second of all, we're all from Pittsburgh, and if you've known about the tragic events that happened over the last few days, what happened at the Squirrel Hill Synagogue, I just want to take a moment and give all my prayers out to all the people that were lost in that.
Yeah, same here.
In that heinous, that completely tragic event, and it's sad. It's Pittsburgh. You wouldn't expect anything to happen, especially when it's in your own hometown.
Oh yeah.
So definitely prayers go out to them. And other than that, man, we're like I said, bro, pissed off, bro. We're pissed.
We're pissed.
We're pissed off.
Just angry.
Pissed. Vonderhart, get your shit together, bro. Fucking. I'm coming for you this whole podcast series, bro.
Vonderhart this, Vonderhart that.
I'm gonna talk about.
Vonderhart said this,
bro. Even if we're talking about Nintendo, I'm gonna bring Vonderhart. Because he always has a
something to say.
Yeah, he always has to be brought up in every single thing that we talk about. I don't give a shit if we're talking about a bouncy ball. There's some way Vonderhart has some 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 play on that. So I'm gonna go for his like I said before in the beginning of the podcast. I'm gonna go for his fucking white chocolate covered dumb ball head ass. But if he ever listens to this shit, bro, Vonderhart, please don't ban my account on Black.
Vonderhart, we love you, okay, but we just don't agree with some of your decisions.
With some of them, shit, motherfucker.
Most of them.
I don't agree with any of them. Fuck
okay.
ass.
Right.
What about the DSR?
Kiss my ass, bro. Fuck.
All right.
But yeah, man. No, just please stay tuned. Please, when we upload this on YouTube, please leave a like, leave a comment. Hip thrust that motherfucking like button.
This is the first episode, and there is going to be problems. We're going to work them out along the way.
Yeah, it's just it is what just like every YouTube channel much. PewDiePie, when he started his shit, I guarantee you those motherfucking videos were garbage.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like, it's a gradual incline. It's just like, it's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster. That's all I gotta say about it.
Once we get in the groove of it, and fixing stuff, then the podcast is going to be.
Yeah. So, I mean, come along with us on, of this ride of being a pissed off gamer. Just, enjoy it, stick with us. But yeah, man, hip thrust that motherfucking subscribe button.
Way to the way with the Q&A stuff, it will most likely be through the comment to comment on the videos. I'm not sure if we will be giving. Well, we have a Twitter as well for that, so that will be posted as well in the
it's in the description of the video.
Yeah, so you can ask us on there too, or I'm not sure if we're all going to post our private Twitters and stuff out. I don't care if mine is.
I have them already in the description.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then you also can message us privately if it's just one of us. That's totally understandable. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. Thanks for watching. Like how Brandon said, with the stuff that happened like 30 minutes away from my house, like that, when I heard about it, my heart just dropped, and I was like sad as hell. And especially that I know like 11 people were injured, and like killed and more
11.
injured. Yeah. Like with the officers that were in that. Thanks for serving and everything like that. I hope they're healing quickly so they can get out back there protecting. If they can't, I know it's your career and you won't be able to do it anymore. And for all those people that were lost too, I pray for those that are mourning the loss of family members and stuff like that.
And I also, want to share my thanks, for whoever tunes into the podcast. This has been something we've been talking about doing for quite some time. And it's just been, hard to find the time to actually sit down and just talk about, different topics that we want to talk about and are pissed off about. But, the fact that we are actually doing this, it's amazing. I actually really enjoyed, just sitting down, talking about games.
Yeah, man.
For however long.
Yeah, like honestly, like this is, you were just bullshitting, but we just have we're just talking about it like while recording it. Like it's just, I mean, it's the same thing. Like it's something that we would do almost like every night. Like we just bullshit about shit. So it's just like, let's be able to, make a platform to let other people express their opinions on how they feel about certain games and, different issues that they see and how much they fucking hate Von. But it's just, let them be able to, do what they want. And, let us be able to give them that, that base of being able to put in that input what others most won't hear their input. Fondahar. So, it's just, let's be able to give that to them. So, again, thank you guys so much. Appreciate all you. Much love, much respect. Except for you, Fondahar. So,
thank you all for tuning in to the Pissed Off Gamers podcast, and we will see you all in the next episode.
Gotta play like sweet jazz music. Outro out.